Okay, so I've got my scatter plot here that I created in the previous module. And from the shape of the scatter plot, I can kind of tell there's a negative relationship between these variables, and it looks like it might be a pretty strong negative relationship. But in case I wanted to go further in my statistical analysis, well, one of the simplest things I can do is a correlation, a bivariate correlation between, in this case, anxiety and extroversion. And I can see, okay, what will be the correlation between these two things? And computing this in Excel is very simple and very straightforward. So I've got my data set here all lined up the way I want it, and what I'm going to first do is I'm going to highlight this cell down here because when I do a statistic, I often want it close enough where I know what it's measuring, and in this case it's going to be extroversion and anxiety. So I'm just going to put it right here at the base of this column, and then I'm going to, I'm going to go up to this button here with the sigma. That's where the formulas are all hiding. And so I'm going to highlight that button and I'm going to click on more functions. Now, I've done correlations recently, so that's why in the function, this is already in my memory, so that's why it's here. If it's not in yours, all you have to do is go up here and you can always type correlation and bring that up, and in any Excel it will be available. So go ahead and do that. There we go. So for correlation, I'm going to hit OK. And it's going to take me to a box for function arguments. I've got to define what two variables I want correlated. It calls it an array. An array is just a string of numbers. So I'm going to minimize this, and I'm going to make extroversion my first array. So I want to highlight every number in this column that I want to be factored into the correlation. So I'm going to go back to the box, and then I'm going to do the same for anxiety. So this array I'm going to minimize, and then I'm going to highlight this as well, and then I'm going to hit OK. And you can see down here that correlation between these two variables, and I can left click on this. The correlation between those two variables is indeed negative 0.77, and that's a pretty strong correlation. That's telling me there's a strong negative association between these two variables. So as one variable is getting bigger, the other one typically is getting smaller, and that's what a negative relationship would be. If the scatter plot looked different, I would expect a different correlation. So the scatter plot and the correlation are consistent with one another, and you can see that both of them are indicating a strong negative relationship between extroversion and anxiety.